On my mission, I actually was kind of unique in that I wanted to get robbed. Like, I know that sounds weird, but I kind of want an experience like that. Because when you're down there, it's just kind of a business thing for the thieves. It's not personal. I remember one story of a kid. He was actually in Colombia. He was getting robbed, and then the people asked him, like, hey, do you have any money for the bus? And he's like, no, I don't. I'm like, okay, well, here's some change. And so they give him money for the bus. That's pretty much how it goes. And usually as a missionary, you're not carrying around very much money anyway. So if you do get robbed, you lose like $2 or the really cheap mission cell phone. So it's not a big deal. But also because of that, I wouldn't carry your camera around, or at least make a habit of carrying your camera around, because there's the chance that that could get robbed. You can always get lucky, maybe they won't search your backpack or whatever, but you never know. And really getting robbed isn't that common of a thing for the missionaries down there, because for the most part, the missionaries have been there long enough, like 50, 60 years, that all of the thieves and gangsters, they all know that the missionaries aren't really carrying anything worthwhile. Okay, so occasionally you'll get robbed, but most of the time they leave you alone. In fact, there's even, in some parts, there's even kind of a superstition that attacking the missionaries is bad because God will punish you. And I actually did have an experience like that once. There was this, we were teaching this man, he was an elderly man, he couldn't walk. And I guess it was his son, apparently. His son kind of slept on a piece of cardboard in a tunnel outside the house. He was a drug addict. And he didn't mind us being there for a while. But then he just kind of started like interrupting our lessons, and he started asking us for money to go buy juice. And we said, no, we don't have any money. Like, yeah, you do. And he started threatening us with a fork and a bucket of water. And my companion says he saw a knife one day, but I never saw the knife. But he did threaten us with a bucket of water, and that was kind of funny. He almost threw water on us. And so we were like, how do we do this? Like, how are we gonna like be able to teach this guy? Because he was really receptive. We were really excited about him. There was a member in the ward. He was pretty street smart, and he came with us on some of the lessons, and he had a reputation for in that neighborhood. So I remember the guy, he just kind of walked away and didn't bother us that day. But he actually ended up going to jail for having a gun. So we were able to teach his dad and baptize his dad. So don't mess with the missionaries. God protects them. But as far as just kind of avoiding any problems there, I never got robbed. I never had any problem like that. If you're just kind of smart and pay attention to your surroundings, you won't have any problems. Just kind of, if you just obey the rules, honestly, you'll be able to avoid it. There are some dangerous areas that you can serve in, but honestly, Heavenly Father loves his missionaries, and so if you just do your part and avoid shady-looking people, stay to lit areas, then you really won't have any problems. Walk fast with purpose. And I only had one instance when I felt like in danger on my mission, and that was something completely random. We just happened to, it was this house that we'd already taught a lesson at, and we came back, and instead of the nice old lady and her son who was there, it was actually a gang from Colombia. And that was the only time the spirit was kind of like, dur, 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 danger, danger. And but we had a member with us, and that's another way to be safe, is to have a member with you. And nothing happened. They knew who the missionaries were, and they mostly just didn't want us seeing all the drugs that they were transporting. So we just left, and there's no problem. Being a missionary is fantastic, because it's almost like it's like a pass to go to the most dangerous parts of Ecuador and be perfectly fine.